continues on Newsradio 600. KOGO.
I'm Cliff Albert. The coronavirus has changed life for everyone in some way here in San Diego and around the country. Many people are working remotely from home, with the governor having issued his stay-at-home order late this week, with their spouses not used to them home so much, and others are working at their office. But everyone is separated. And then there are those parents, moms and dads, who have kids at home now for, well, possibly 2 to 3 months, with schools closed at least for that long. All of this can increase stress levels and tension and make everyone a little anxious about what's going on. To get some advice, I talked with an expert here in San Diego, Ashley Virtue, with the San Diego-based National Conflict Resolution Center.
If you can't tell from our name at the National Conflict Resolution Center, we are expert at dealing with conflict, and we really understand the things that lead to conflict. What's been happening lately with the coronavirus, this COVID-19 virus, that we're seeing is that people are moving so quickly that the communication between individuals is getting lost. And so we do have a few tips to just help people smooth that out, especially as it pertains to kind of coming into a new norm with your work environment or how you're dealing with social groups, because a lot of those changes are very fluid. They're happening every day, and they're happening very quickly. And so we want people to feel really prepared to communicate effectively, even in a different situation.
So give us an example of what some of these things are so that people can be helped right now.
Absolutely. So the utmost importance is for folks to really set clear expectations. So let's say that you are someone who is new to telecommuting. Maybe your office has just moved to virtual, or you're doing remote sessions telecommuting, and you haven't really done this very much before. It may feel very overwhelming, and you may wonder, how am I supposed to communicate my needs, communicate my accomplishments into the office? So one thing that will help everyone in that environment is to have very clear expectations of what is expected of them each and every day. So if you're a manager or supervisor, be sure that you're communicating with your team. Here's what I'm looking for at the end of the day. Here's when I need to touch base with you during the day. And if you're working with colleagues, it's something that will also be really helpful. If you're able to tell your colleagues, hey, I'm going to do this part of this assignment. If you could do this part, or does that work for you? Those will be things that will help lessen conflict down the road. Because one of the things that we tend to do in situations like this is fall into our natural communication styles, and those aren't the same for everyone, right? So some of us communicate a lot. We may even over-communicate during this time, and some of us don't communicate as much. That's not natural for us, and we may under-communicate some of what we need to.
When lives are disrupted like they have been and currently are, and looks like for a while they will be, a lot of people are unhappy. They become grumpy. They don't like the changes that they're having to deal with in their lives, from the life at home to the life at work and everything in between. How do you get them to end the grumpiness, end the complaining, and move forward with a little better attitude?
It's really important right now that we don't assume the worst in people. In fact, assuming the best and giving grace is really important to do at this time, because we are all under very high stress situations. And so recognize that, especially as we are communicating more and more remotely, we're not going to have some of the social cues that we're used to, such as facial expressions and body language. And so recognize that, reading into situations prematurely probably won't help the situation that you're in. And the best thing that you can do is proactively communicate with those that you're trying to collaborate with. And that may be in a work setting, but honestly, that may be even with your family members, as you're adjusting family plans and as you're learning to live in very close quarters that maybe you haven't had to do before. So, don't throw communication out the window just because we're in this new situation. Instead, actually really try to enhance it and give that grace. Don't assume the worst. Assume that people have the best of intentions as you go in, and then just communicate to clarify.
That's Ashley Virtue with the San Diego-based National Conflict Resolution Center. Cliff Albert, KOGO.